What if your life suddenly felt out of control? The waves rising, the wind screaming. And no matter how hard you try, you cannot steady the boat. You pray. But heaven seems silent. You look around and whisper,
God, don't you care?
One night, on a small boat crossing the Sea of Galilee, the disciples of Jesus asked that very question. And what happened next changed their understanding of him forever. It had been a long day. Jesus had been teaching the crowds from morning until sunset, speaking in parables, explaining the kingdom of God. So many people had gathered that he stepped into a boat and taught from the water. By evening, his voice was tired, his body weary. As the sun dipped below the hills, he turned to his disciples and said,
"Let us go over to the other side.
Not a suggestion, a decision. They pushed off from shore. The lake was calm, the sky quiet. And in the back of the boat, Jesus fell asleep. But the Sea of Galilee is known for sudden, violent storms. Cold winds rush down from the surrounding mountains without warning. The sky darkened. The wind began to howl. Small waves became larger, then violent. The boat rocked. Water splashed over the sides. The disciples grabbed ropes. They shouted over the wind. They tried to steady the vessel. These were seasoned fishermen, men who knew this lake. But this storm was different. The waves crashed harder. Water filled the boat. And in the middle of chaos, Jesus was still asleep. Finally, panic overcame them. They stumbled to the back of the boat and shook him awake.
Teacher! Don't you care that we are perishing?
Don't you care? Maybe you've asked that too. When the diagnosis came. When the job was lost. When the relationship shattered. Don't you care? Jesus opened his eyes. He stood. No panic, no rush. He looked at the wind. He looked at the raging waves, and he spoke.
Be still!
Not a prayer, not a plea, a command. Instantly, the wind stopped. The waves fell flat. The sea became like glass. Silence. So deep, they could hear their own breathing. Jesus turned to them.
Why were you afraid? Do you still have doubt?
He was revealing something. They had feared the storm. Now, they feared the one who commanded it. They whispered to one another, "Who is this? Even the wind and the waves obey him." This story is not just about weather. It is about trust. The boat had Jesus in it, and it still faced a storm. His presence did not prevent the waves, but the storm did not have the final word. Sometimes God seems silent. Sometimes he appears asleep while we are fighting for our lives. But silence does not mean absence. And when he speaks, creation listens. The same voice that calmed the sea still speaks today, into anxiety, into grief, into chaos. peace. Be still. Maybe you are in a storm right now. The waves feel too strong, the wind too loud. But if Christ is in your boat, you will not sink. Because the one who commands the wind is holding your life, and no storm is greater than his voice. If this story encouraged you, consider subscribing for more biblical storytelling. You are not alone in the storm, and peace is closer than you think.